Hello everyone, and welcome to another how-to video in the how-to video series for Equestriapp. In this video I'm going to talk you through rider and coach onboarding. The reason that we don't talk through rider onboarding is because it's a very short process. If I was to click next now during this process, I would simply see the notification preference screen where I talk about how and when I want to be contacted by Equestriapp, and then I'd be straight into the rider dashboard, and we do a whole other video about how to benefit from Equestriapp in the best possible way as a rider. But for this video, we'll talk about registering as a rider and a coach. Now, if you selected the wrong one here and ended up in the dashboard, it's nothing to worry about. You can always add another profile later. But for the purposes of this video, we'll talk through registering as a rider and a coach combined. So this is the profile notification preferences page that I mentioned. And in the previous video, I mentioned about that we have no interest in spam at Equestriapp, and I'll mention that again now. This is not being able to bombard you with useless information. This is all about enabling you to get the maximum benefit from Equestriapp. So this is getting notified immediately if someone books a lesson with you, if a lesson is cancelled, when a payout is sent, if a rider has completed their digital rider registration form, all things that you'd want to know quite quickly. So this allows us to contact you for those purposes. So I'm going to go ahead and click stay in the loop and then click yes, notify me. When I do that, the next page will then be the native prompt from the device itself. So it's the system asking you, do you want to allow Equestriapp to contact you? And again, once I get to that step, I'll click allow again. So here's the pop-up. I'm going to click allow. And then we're into onboarding. So I'm not a riding coach. I have been the co-owner of a riding school. I can ride horses. But if you've read the About Us page on the website, that's my wife's domain. She's been a coach for over 20 years. So for the purpose of this, I'm going to make it all up. So this is the year's experience. Everything in this onboarding is what riders will see when they're searching for you. So please be thorough here if you want to sell your wares and show people the experience that you have. But for me, let's say I've been teaching for 5 years. Then we're into the qualification steps. So you can select as many as are relevant here. Let's say I'm a BHS stage 2. I don't have any pony club qualifications. And again, you can go back and forth between these if you've got them wrong. Here's some coaching qualifications again. So let's say I'm also a para coach. Any competition experience that's relevant. So let's say I've got good experience in show jumping. Professional qualifications, so first aid, safeguarding, etc. And then here's a summary to see if everything looks correct. If not, you can go back. And as I say, these are all the different things that a rider will be able to see once they're into searching for coaches in their area. So then, where are you based? Now, if you don't have a yard, it's nothing to worry about. What this part of the onboarding is doing is putting a geolocation in the Equestriapp service so that when riders are searching for coaches, it allows us to anchor you around a centre point. And so if you have a yard, of course, put your own yard address in. If you don't have a yard, put your own address in, or a centralised address where you want to be teaching within a certain radius of that. If you're teaching various locations, that's fine. You can put one address in here. Then once you're registered and into the app, you can always add more venues later. And importantly, then when riders are searching in any of the areas around one of your multiple venues, then you will show in the search results in any one of those areas. So, for the purpose of this, we can put in a local address. You can either use your current location if you're at the location which you want to input, but for the purpose of this, I'll type it in manually. So my local yard is South Coast Equestrian. And then I'll start typing the address in. You will have seen there a little verified spinner, and then whether the address has been verified or not. What's happening there is just Google Maps in the background, seeing if it can understand the address, and it can then pinpoint a location. And again, this is all to power the coach search part of the app later. When riders want to search and find coaches and see how far away you are, this is how we anchor that around that. So if it hasn't done that, then please don't proceed. It shouldn't let you proceed anyway. Please go back and rework the address to make sure the system can recognize it. But there we go. That's my local address. That's my local venue. Then I'm going to click next. So again, this is the different lesson types I want to offer. And again, this filters into the rider search part of the app. So when riders want to search for a specific coach with a specific skill set, then these are the different services that they're able to filter coaches by. So please add all the different services here that you want to offer. But again, nothing to worry about if you don't do them all now. You can add them later once you're into the app. So just to get us through this onboarding demo, I'm going to say I like to teach dressage, that I teach private dressage lessons. I can change the title there if I want to, and I can put in a description. So let's say these are relaxed dressage lessons. I can then put my price. You can change this to whatever you want it to be. So let's say it's £45. The default there is just 60, but we can just change that to whatever you want it to be. Similarly with the duration, let's say I do 30-minute lessons ordinarily, and then I can save the lesson type. Again, this, as I mentioned, you can put as many of these in as you like that are relevant to your different services. So let's now do another one. Let's do a show jumping. This is a group lesson that I like to teach. You don't need to put a description in if you don't want to. Let's say it's a £30 lesson that lasts for an hour, and this is where you can adjust the capacity of the lesson as well. And so on and so forth. You can add as many of those as you like. And as I say, you can always add more later. But once we're into the app, in another video, we'll show you now how to create the availability that people can book. But these are just the core services that you offer as a coach and enable you to be searched and to also add the availability later. So let's say we're done there, but then we can click next. The really important one now, a great thing about Equestria app is that we don't want it to happen, but it can happen for coaches where people don't turn up, and we don't then want to have our time wasted and be stood around and not get paid for it. But we also want to be fair in how we apply cancellation policies. We don't want to penalise people unnecessarily. So this is where you provide those details, and again, you can do all of this later once you're into the app as well if you want to change it later. So you can see here, you can change the notice period and also the fee that would be charged. So what this means is if somebody cancelled within 24 hours, I would charge 50% of the lesson service fee and keep that, and the rest would be refunded to the rider. Of course, if they cancelled before 24 hours, before the 24-hour window, we would give them a full refund. So you can see how that works, and you adjust that. But I'm going to stick with 24 hours and a 50% fee. If they book within that, then I keep half of the lesson fee. Then I'm into uploading a photo. This is really important. This is, again, in another video, I'll show you how riders search for you. But this is your visual representation in the app. This is how people can see you alongside your name and your services that you offer. So a good photo here goes a long way to make you stand out and secure good business from Equestria app. So let's go ahead and upload a photo. So you can see here, we can upload from photos, or we can take a picture. You can take a selfie if you haven't got a good one already. But I'm going to go in and select from my photos. You can see here, I'm going to allow full access. Lots of different pictures of horses here, and a shameless plug, I'm going to go ahead and pick the one of me with Zara Phillips. And there we are, with my dog as well. And then you can always change that again later, and as you work through the app and change settings later on. But that is the end of coach onboarding and instructor onboarding. So it just gives you little bit of a summary of what you've inputted. So I said I've got 5 years experience, I've put 5 qualifications in, I've set a location, I've created 2 services, and I've set a cancellation policy. And that is then when you land into the app. So as you can see there, this is me in the app for the first time. Everything is 0 at the moment, no upcoming lessons, no students yet. But we'll come on to how to set availability and start securing lesson bookings in another video. But for now, that is instructor and coach onboarding, the different things that you need to complete during that process and what they ultimately power for you once into the app. And we'll move on to other features in other videos. Speak to you soon.